Alrighty guys, welcome back to the tutorial series Sentinels of the Multiverse, hero number 7. This is HAKA. Pretty cool character, very cool mechanic going with him. If you want to play just a tough rumble, kind of reminds me of what you would think of maybe the Hulk character, damaging everything, including his allies, himself, all the enemies, big and rough and tumble. That's kind of what this character is. If you enjoy characters like that, HAKA might be your man. Let's take a look at it. So HAKA here is part of the Prime Wardens with the Fanatic. He's from New Zealand. He's 7'2" and 370 pounds. Holy cow. And there I'm going to let you read his backstory. You can put this on pause if you want to. On YouTube, if you're watching this later, I highly recommend you check out the backstory so you understand a little bit about what's going on with him. Alright, let's get into his character cards, show his cards here, and of course, HAKA, 34 hit points, a lot of hit points, which is a good start if you like playing somebody a little more, rough and tumble and not so fragile. We got the Savage HAKA. Crush HAKA. Deal 1 target 2 melee damage. Pretty straightforward. 1 for 2. If he's knocked out, one player may play a card. Select a hero. Reduce the damage dealt to that hero by 2. And one player may draw a card. Very standard stuff. So let's look at his variants. He has, of course, the Eternal HAKA. 33 hit points, not as rough and tumble, but this is the HAKA of Knowledge. Power, draw a card. You may discard a card with HAKA in the title. If you do, draw 2 cards. Interesting. And of course, when he gets knocked out, one target regains 1 hit point. One player may play a card until the start of your next turn. Reduce all damage dealt by 2. Alright, next up is the Prime Wardens HAKA, 35 hit points, Guardian Power, play a card. If the card has HAKA in the title, select a target to gain the benefit of your discarding. Pretty good, pretty interesting. And of course when he gets knocked out, one player may draw a card. One hero may use the power and increase his next damage dealt by a target by 2. Alright, and last but not least, his Extreme Prime Wardens HAKA, 32 hit points, Die Hard power. Select a hero character card. Until the start of your next turn, redirect damage that would be dealt to that target to HAKA instead. Whenever HAKA is dealt damage this way, he regains 1 hit point. Nice. Alright, so there are his variants and what he can do in each of the different artwork, which goes along with them, and what they do. Alright, so let's look at his cards. We've talked about cards that start with HAKA. Or have HAKA in the title. We'll get to these cards. I think we'll just start from the top, go down the bottom. He only has 14 cards in his deck, so again, a lot of 3s and just a couple 2s. 3 cards. He definitely wants to get this card into play. Domination. It's an ongoing card. Whenever an environment card is destroyed, you may draw a card. Whenever an environment card is destroyed, you may draw a card, which is huge for him. He is all about getting a ton of cards in his hand. He wants as many cards in his hand as possible because of what you'll see here in a bit. So getting, every time the environment card, a card is destroyed or killed or whatever, boom, 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 he gets a card. He's got to get this card in play. And notice it is not a limited card either. So you can have multiple copies of this in play. Alright, number 2. Elbow Smash. 1 shot. HAKA deals 1 target, 3 damage. Boom. One target, 3 damage. Okay. Very standard stuff. One shot, does some damage. Not bad. Enduring Intercession. Enduring Intercession. Ongoing. Redirect any damage that would be dealt to a hero target by an environment card to HAKA, and then you can destroy this card. So, not a bad card if he has his damage reduction already in play. And redirecting damage to keep everyone else alive. He does start with a lot of hit points, a lot more than other characters, maybe even 10 more than other characters. So, if you're going to have an environment target that's going to be doing some damage, give it to HAKA. Not a bad card. And then Ground Pound. So this is a huge one for him. It's an ongoing card. When this card enters play, either discard 2 cards or destroy this card. So yes, this is why you want to have lots of cards, because he's going to be discarding cards to power up his cards. Think of cards as strength. You can see he's a massive, huge, hulking character. He's going to need lots of strength to do his to do his powers. So he's going to need lots of cards. If cards are strength for HAKA, he's going to need a ton of them. When this card enters play, either discard 2 cards or destroy this card. You can't do it if you can't discard 2 cards. And then non-hero cards cannot deal damage. You just nerf everyone. Nobody's dealing damage. Oh, okay. And then he started your turn, destroy this card. So it only lasts 1 turn. He's got 2 copies in his deck. Not a bad card 2 times to be able to prevent the enemies from dealing damage. And all it does is cost you 2 cards. Okay. That's why he wants to have a ton of cards in his hand. The other reason he's going to want tons of cards in his hand is for all of his HAKA cards. And we're going to go over them right now. We have the HAKA of Battle. So he gets to draw 2 cards. Hey, that's pretty good. Then discard 1 or more cards. Increase the next damage dealt by HAKA by 1 for each card discarded this way. So you have 6 cards in your hand. You draw 2. You're up to 8 cards. You could discard all 8 of those cards and do 8 extra points of damage. So you can do a massive amount of damage with this. Again, getting cards in your hand. You probably don't want to get rid of all your cards, but you could if you wanted to. That's the HAKA of Battle. They also have the HAKA of Restoration. Draw 2 cards, then discard 1 or more cards. For every card you discard, you heal 1 point for every card discarded. So you got 3 of these cards. You got a bunch of cards in your hand. You discard them, you heal back all the way up. You discard 6, 8, 10 cards. You heal 6, 8, 10 hit points, and you're all the way back up to full. Woo! That's why redirecting damage from your allies over to you is okay, because you can do things like this if you get a ton of cards, which makes this card all the more important, because this way you're getting hopefully a lot of cards in your hand. So that's the HAKA Restoration. Finally, we have the HAKA Shielding. So you draw 2 cards, discard 1 or more cards, and then reduce the next damage that HAKA would be dealt by 2 for each card discarded this way. So you discard 3 cards. 3 times 2 is 6. You can reduce the next damage you're going to take by 6 for 3 cards. That's insanely good, as you can see. So he wants tons and tons and tons of cards. Give me cards, give me cards, give me cards. I would love to have cards. Thank you very much. All right. Mere is his equipment. It is limited. HAKA deals 1 target 2 damage, but he gets to draw a card. Not a bad power. Gets to draw a card as well. So, that can help him energize all of his other cards. It doesn't do a ton of damage, but, it does do, his base card is just do 1 target 2 melee. So it's a slight upgrade to his base power with the extra card draw. Punish the Weak, ongoing limited. Whenever HAKA would damage the non-hero target with the lowest hit points, increase that damage by 1. Whenever HAKA would damage any other target, reduce that damage by 1. Power, destroy this card. So this one for me is kind of an oddball card. I see what they were trying to do there, but I just don't see the need for this card, to be honest. Whenever HAKA would damage the non-hero target with the lowest hit points. Okay, so you got somebody out there with 1 or 2 hit points. You're going to do an extra point of damage to it. But that's probably going to kill them anyways. So, and then you reduce the other damage that the characters with more hit points are going to take. I don't get this card, and I probably would never play it. I don't know. I don't see. Maybe there's a niche situation where you might need it. He's got so many other better cards. I would never worry about this one, to be honest. And maybe I'm missing something with that one. I don't know. That's a possibility. Viper Dave, what's going on? Ronaldo, very powerful character, but needs a lot of card draw. Yep. So Rampage, this is a great card here. HAKA deals each non-hero target 5 melee damage and each other hero target 2 melee damage. So he does 5 damage to everyone else and then 2 to everyone on your team. So yeah, everyone's taking some damage. But that's okay. That's okay. 3 copies in the deck. Savage Mana. Ongoing limited. Whenever HAKA destroys a target, you may put this card beneath this card. Power. Destroy all cards beneath this card. When HAKA deals 1 target X toxic damage, where X is the number of cards destroyed this way times 2. So HAKA kills 1, 2, 3, 4 enemies, and then uses those 4 enemies with this to do 8 damage to another enemy. That's not bad at all. Good card. HAKA Equipment Limited. This is a great card. It's a power. HAKA deals 2 targets, 3 damage. That's 6 damage. That's a lot of damage. Not a bad card. 2 targets, 3 damage for a power. Not bad. Tamoko, ongoing limited. Reduced damage Delta HAKA by 1, which can, yeah, you got to get this card in play. He takes a ton of damage. He wants to get lots of cards in play, so yes, give him this card. It's a great card. And Vitality Surge, HAKA regains 2 hit points. Yeah, it's okay. Draw a card, which you know he wants lots of cards. If you got nothing else to play this card. It's not the best card he has, but it's doable. Gives a little bit of hit points and some card draw, which he desperately would love to have lots and lots of cards. So, what do we think about HAKA? He is a super straightforward, very easy character. You just want to have a ton of cards, and then how you manipulate those cards is how you play HAKA. Like, do I want to energize myself to do extra damage? Do I want to try and get a little bit of healing? Do I want to prevent some damage? Yeah, those are all interesting decisions, and you're going to have 9 HAKAs of your 40 cards, so almost one fourth of your cards are HAKA cards, so you're going to be seeing these cards all the time. You definitely want to get your damage reduction out there. You definitely would like to get your domination cards, and again, I cannot believe this is not a limited card. So whenever an environment card is destroyed, there's 3 copies of this. You can get 3 cards you can draw a card. That would be huge. Yeah, he's all around kind of very tanky with all of his extra hit points, 34, 36, 38 on some of his variants. It's a lot of hit points. And being able to get all those hit points back quickly by just spending cards is, a lot of heroes would love that. So he can accept damage, take a lot of damage from the environment targets, destroying the environment targets to energize himself so he can heal again, which is a nice little cycle of damage. He does some pretty good damage with some of his attacks. pretty good damage, and then he can reduce damage from himself. Very kind of straightforwardy. You're playing basically the Hulk in the Sentinels of the Multiverse universe. Very tough, rumble, doing lots of damage, punching people very hard, trying to get lots and lots of cards to energize you. It's very fun play, it's very interesting play, and very quick play. Not too complex, very straightforward. Punch, see person, punch hard. Again, I guess the one card I would kind of ignore is the punish the weak. I mean, maybe there's some niche situations where you want to put that into play, but I can't imagine why. Gives you a little bit of healing, but anything that gives you cards is going to be your friend. If you bring other characters with HAKA, other heroes that do lots of damage. I'm sorry, if you bring other heroes that do give other characters, other heroes card draw, like Legacy, lots of other heroes draw cards. I mean, HAKA loves characters like that. Legacy is a good team up for him. Trying to think of some of the other good characters that have a lot of card draw. I'm sure there's some I just can't think of right off the top of my head. But HAKA loves characters that give him card draw. That's awesome. Give me cards. I love cards. I love me some cards. Yeah, I mean, he does very straightforward stuff. Not too fancy. Does pretty good damage. Pretty tough. You don't have to, get worried too quickly about getting knocked out. You can take a lot of damage. You deal a lot of damage. And he's a fun character to play. The ground pound, being able to knock all the enemies from doing damage for one turn for discarding 2 cards. I mean, that's a great play. Great, awesome. I mean, some characters have to jump through a hoop just to prevent one enemy from attacking. You can prevent everyone from doing damage. That is huge, and all it does is cost you 2 cards. So cards are very important to you. You're going to be using these cards. You're going to have to figure out how many cards you're going to be discarding for each of your HAKAs. Hopefully you're cycling through with lots of cards in, lots of cards out, lots of cards in, lots of cards out. And if that's happening, you're doing a lot of damage, you're getting a lot of healing, and you're really helping your team a lot. If you're not getting a lot of cards in, you're not doing a lot of cards out, which means you're not doing a lot of stuff for your team. HAKA, very cool character, very straightforward, very fun. If you like playing a tough rumble character with lots of hit points, HAKA's your man. Thanks everyone for watching. We do appreciate it. That'll be the last tutorial series for a little bit. I've got some other stuff I need to do. Until then, my friends, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, do all that other stuff, and we'll see you soon. Until then, my friends, don't you forget, I will see you down the line. Take care, everybody. Have a good day. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.